I want you to bankrupt me. That's that simple. I want you to bankrupt me.
The French First Lady is suing Candice Owens for defamation. Now, with the rise of gender transition, is she justified to make such allegations? Let's get to the reactions. Always leave your comments down below.
Candace Owens really said humiliation is fine as long as the check clears. Candace Owens is officially in her please hire me era because Miss Girl sat down with Nick Fuentes. That's not journalism, y'all. That's desperation. And Nick didn't switch up. He told her straight up he wouldn't have biracial kids. He said he might find people of color attractive, but in short, he ain't about to taint his bloodline by having babies with them. And what did Candace do? Smile through it, laugh, nod, because at this point, she'll take the disrespect if it's going to lead to her getting views and money. And let's be clear, Nick Fuentes is openly anti-Semitic. Candace, you don't have the complexion for the protection to echo that rhetoric and think that you're going to be okay. You ain't Oprah, you ain't Howard Stern, and you ain't even a journalist. You just out here fishing for relevance like an influencer with a broken ring light and no content. At this point, Candace girl, just get a job. A regular job, girl, because this ain't powerful. This was pitiful.
I'm just going to say it. I am not somebody who agrees with Candace Owens. I don't like the truths that she's been telling in this country for the last 10 years, or the truths she's been telling in this country as a black person for the last 10 years, and I don't really like what she represents. But I am not with the silencing of a black woman for telling the truth. Here's the thing. Nobody is denying that Candace Owens is transphobic. Candace Owens does not even deny that she's transphobic. She doesn't deny that her platform is transphobic, and she does not deny that as a biological female that she's a transphobe. She's never denied that. So let's start there. Now, in the case of Bridget McCone, I'm just going to keep it a buck with you guys. I do not support bureaucracy whatsoever. And to me, frankly, and I know a lot of dolls who have experienced the impact of people like Candace Owens and their voices in the community in America do not feel bad, and they're probably like, what the fuck? Fuck her. But we should not stand by people using bureaucracy and their power to silence individuals, because it starts and it will create a very, very dangerous zone. A very, very dangerous zone about anything that we have to say. We really need to understand that freedom of speech is at target. They want to silence us. Whether you are left, whether you are right, whether you believe what you want to believe, at the end of the day, we're all humans. And I really do question the left. We are always asking ourselves, why has the political spectrum become so divisive? Why can't we just coexist? Why can't people be a Republican and be a Democrat and be fine with that? Why do things have to be so tense? Why do people have to be so tense? Why is it such a tense subject? It's because you guys cannot see the overlap in how both sides of the party are both evil. Both sides are wrong. Nobody is saying that you are not allowed to have your own opinions. I have my own opinions. I believe and I understand why some people will be so quick to drag Candace Owens, and as they should, because, you can drag her for what she says. But what I don't agree with is that they should be able to take legal action against her. Bridget McCone was unable to prove in her home country that French journalists in her own country were lying about the fact that she was biologically born a male. Nobody's denying. I'm not even going to sit here and say that Bridget McCone is not a woman, because Bridget McCone is allowed to identify however the fuck she wants. That's none of my business. My problem is when you use bureaucracy, you use your power, you use your wealth, you use all these different things to try to silence people for saying what they want to say out of their mouth. It was your decision, Bridget McCone, to transition into a man, into a woman, or to allegedly, and I'm going to say this for alleged, even though that I personally believe, and I will say this, I personally believe that Bridget McCone was not biologically born a man, born a woman. It was your decision to do that. It is people's right to speak up on that. It's people's right to say, you were born something that you claim to be something that you're claiming to be something that you're not. I don't think for a lot of people it's not it's for a lot of people, it's not even that Bridget McCone is trans. For a lot of people, it's the lie. It's for a lot of people, it's a decoding of secrecy. It's what it represents. It's not even just about trans. It's about people feeling like they're being lied to, and how far people with power will go to protect the lies that they're hiding from people. I think that's where a lot of French people, because let's be real, I feel like France is a very open place. It's maybe not, maybe so, but I feel like they're a little more, they're a little more over there. So, I don't think it's necessarily that it's a trans woman as president, and I don't even have an issue with that. Nobody has an issue with that. Support the dolls. My thing is, if you're going to be a doll, stand in it. And you cannot be mad when there is proof. Like, all I'm saying is, Bridget McCone has not debunked that. Like, and here's the thing, like, it makes it even seem as though you're a little transphobic, because why are you so against the fact that clearly, and this is, once again, this is my opinion, but I'm going to say for alleged, because she's suing people and she's using her power to sue people and people think it's fine, I'm going to say for alleged and entertainment purpose only, you have not given enough evidence to clearly debunk, like you say you have, that these clearly false claims. Because honestly, like, looking at this unbiasedly from any perspective, and you guys can even go and do your own research, and you don't have to look at it from Candace's perspective. You can go and kind of look at the facts. Because if you Google this story, it will tell you that it's completely false and it's been debunked. But where has it actually been debunked? Like, where has it actually legitimately, seriously been debunked? Here in America, that's not how we debunk things. Like, I was looking at the French and what they claim to have debunked, but here in America, that's not debunked. Here in America, that would fuel the allegations, because you're not clearly giving me an answer. You're giving me a runaround. You're giving me a runaround, and you're not definitively telling me what I want to know. If it is that offensive to you that you are being called a trans woman, why is it that offensive? Trans women are constantly breaking down the barriers and showing what they can do and how they can look and how beautiful they can be on a day-to-day basis. Why is that such a, you know what I mean? Like, it has me looking at her a little funny. It definitely has me looking at her a little funny, and it's a kind of conversation that I definitely wanted to say, but I noticed that a lot of LGBTQ people do not leave, especially the non-people of color ones. They do not leave their certain white male things with them in their transition. That's all I'm going to say. But like I said, I do not stand with Candace Owens, but I do stand with Candace Owens as a black woman in this situation. You will not silence her. You tried to silence French journalists in your country, and it did not work. Please do not bring that to America. And Americans, please do not allow bureaucracy to win. I don't care whether you support what she's saying or whether you do not support what she's saying. Do not allow bureaucracy to win. Point blank, period.
I want you to bankrupt me. That's that simple. I want you to bankrupt me. I understand that I'm out here spreading lies, but I don't see them as lies, because I just like to hear myself fucking talk. And I like to watch my own videos back because I think I'm that important. I know that I'm spreading lies, but I'm going to double down because I get paid to act a fool. I get paid to say stupid shit because I just care about money. So I'm going to double down on what I already know is a lie. And I want to make it to discovery, where they discover that you are in fact a woman and I am in fact on the hook for millions of dollars. I want you to bankrupt me. I don't want to be rich. I don't need it because of my fans who listen to me, and also the fact that I like to hear myself talk. So I don't need the money. Take it. I'll be fine. Because I'll just get on the news, I'll just get on my little podcast with my little mic, and I'll tell them that, again, the big pedophiles shut me down. And then you can sue me again, because I like being sued. But my fans will always be there. And the money will always be there, because those people never see the error in my ways. And that's why I'm here, to be a dumb bitch. Thank you. Have a good day.
Now, why would Candace Owens tell people that the French president's wife used to be a man? Because now she's getting sued for defamation. Yup, Candace Owens is getting sued by French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte. They're not playing any games, and I honestly can't even blame them. Because not only did Candace Owens say that the wife was born a male, but she's also saying that the couple are blood relatives. She also said that Emmanuel was chosen to be president by a CIA-operated program and that they've been committing fraud and all sorts of crimes. And what's funny is that Candace Owens is standing on that. After that news came out, she released an episode of her podcast saying, "I stand on what I say, and I'm gonna need proof of you growing up as a woman." She's going as far as volunteering her doctors to go over there to take test samples. Candace Owens is saying that she's ready for this battle. She's prepared for this discovery because she is so sure that this woman is a man. I'm honestly very interested to see how this battle goes on between them, because one thing about Candace Owens, that girl never rests.
Yes, I wake up, I stretch, I have a cup of coffee, and then I am served with a lawsuit. I think that's the morning routine, my friends. That is clearly my morning routine. It is so effortless. And today I have been sued by the first lady man of France. So let's just go, guys. Let's just go. Welcome back to Candace.
I'm not one to mind other people's business, but let's talk about what happens when conspiracy theories lead to real legal consequences. And is this going to be the final undoing of Miss Candace Owens? Let's get into it. So, French President Emmanuel Macron and his First Lady Brigitte Macron have filed a 218-page complaint against Candace Owens, citing 22 counts of defamation. And of course, with 218 pages, you can imagine that the receipts are receding. The complaint reads that in March of 2024, Candace Owens, a right-wing podcaster, told the world that she would stake her entire professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron is a man. Since then, Owens has used this false statement to promote her independent platform, gain notoriety, and make money. Owens has disregarded all credible evidence disproving her claim in favor of platforming known conspiracy theorists and proven defamers. And rather than engage with the president and Mrs. Macron's attempts to set the record straight, Owens mocked them and used them as additional fodder for her frenzied fan base. But that is just the beginning. According to the complaint, Candace produced an 8-part series called Becoming Brigitte, where she claimed that Brigitte Macron was born as her brother, Jean-Michel, who stole his sister's identity, and that Emmanuel Macron was groomed as a child. She also suggested that journalists investigating the story end up unalived, and she specifically cited one journalist who she claims was found deceased in a river after investigating the Macrons. In the complaint, it shows that the Macrons contacted her 3 times, asking her to retract those false claims, which she refused to do, and this is where things escalated. In an incredibly strategic move, the Macrons have hired Claire Locke, the law firm that recently won nearly $800 million from Fox News in the Dominion Voting Systems defamation case. This complaint truly reads like a crisis communications masterclass. They don't just say she lied, they provide birth announcements from 1953, wedding photos, inauguration footage showing Jean-Michel and Brigitte in the same frame, and court records from France where people pushing these same lies have already lost defamation cases. But here's the legal standard that they have to meet. Because the Macrons are public figures, they have to provide proof of actual malice, meaning that Candace either knew her claims were false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. And the complaint argues that they have exactly that evidence. To truly understand why this lawsuit matters, we have to acknowledge that Candace Owens' career has been in a free fall recently. She used to be considered conservative media royalty, showing up on the CPAC main stages and White House meetings and a part of the Brexit movement. However, as the complaint outlines, the Daily Wire, who hosted her podcast, fired her back in March of 2024. Her YouTube channel was suspended and demonetized for hate speech violations, and Ben Shapiro and other major conservative figures have publicly distanced themselves from her. And according to the complaint, she's now relying on fan donations to keep her podcast running. She's selling merch with fake Time magazine covers of Brigitte Macron labeled as Man of the Year. This isn't political commentary anymore. It's desperation for monetization, according to the complaint. Candice wasted absolutely no time commenting on the lawsuit. She posted this on her Instagram stories. I will be coming for this wig today. Stay tuned. And she did just that.
Claire Locke is representing Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron, has been in communication with us for months, and yet they did not send us a copy of the lawsuit. They did not give my lawyer a heads up that they were filing a lawsuit, but they did instead opt to give this lawsuit ahead of time to the Financial Times, the New York Times, CBS News. What does that tell you? It's a PR strategy. They don't care if they win. This is about running it through the press. And how much PR are we talking here? Claire Locke, Tom Locke, or Tom Claire, whatever his name is, they actually uploaded the lawsuit to their website, and then they gave CBS News a link to the uploaded lawsuit before I had been served, before my lawyer was even informed about it. I found out with all of you. I found out with the world. I found out from the Financial Times that I was being sued by the first couple of France. Not normal, guys.
From a crisis communications perspective, Macron's response is textbook. He didn't tweet back. He didn't issue press statements. He chose the nuclear option, which is the U.S. federal court. Their messaging is clear that they are not going to play in the social media mud with her. This really forces Candace Owens into a corner. Either she's going to defend these claims under oath with actual evidence, or she's going to have to admit that they were false. Either way, her credibility is going to take a massive hit. For Candace, her strategy is likely going to be predictable. She's probably going to frame herself as a free speech martyr facing foreign censorship, but martyrdom only works when you have a coalition willing to defend you, and her fan base is quickly disappearing. This lawsuit isn't just about legal liability, it's about brand isolation. When your supporters stop showing up, when your base shrinks, when your employer distances itself from your content, that's when a crisis becomes a collapse. Effective PR isn't just damage control. It's about building guardrails, maintaining alliances, and knowing where the boundaries are. And Candace has burned through all of that. Candace Owens is no longer a rising conservative star. She's a political liability. And that this lawsuit from the Macrons really is a symptom of a bigger issue. Her unchecked influence without accountability has led to self-destruction. And with that, when you build your brand on being provocative and then you lose your community, you are one headline away from irrelevance. I don't know how many people actually care that Candace Owens is going through this situation, but I think it would behoove her to be reflective in this moment because she could potentially end up in significant financial ruin.
Guys, what's going on? What's this about? So I've been seeing bits and pieces of it on Twitter. I don't follow Candice Owen because I cannot stand the woman. But she's been going on about Macron's wife being born male, and she's like so into it. I think she even has a series on YouTube, which I cannot be bothered to watch because, again, I can't stand the woman. I can't stand her voice. But what's going on there? Did Macron do something to her? Did they say something to her to set her off? Why she's so adamant? Why she's so stuck on this? Can someone explain it to me? What's going on? What's Macron's wife done to her, or was he done to her? And does anyone believe what she's saying? Like I said, I think it's a series on her YouTube, and so she obviously probably has proof. I mean, for her to be going on so I'm just very cautious when people make claims like that, because we know what they say about Michelle, which obviously is false. Absolutely false, no truth to it. So when people come out and say things like that about other people, I'm always like, But hey, it's interesting. Anyone knows what's going on? Maybe it's something I need to get into, just for the entertainment value, of course.
It's so funny that I'm watching the news, and at the same time as I'm scrolling on this app, it is reported on both apps, on Candace Owens' profile and on the news, that the president of France is suing, and the first lady is suing Candace Owens for her relentless reporting of First Lady Brigitte Macron being trans, or being born male. And of course I don't know France's rules around damages or threatening someone's character and all that, but I mean, they're suing over it, so obviously they have some laws around it. But I'm not saying people in America haven't sued for this. I don't know a case like that. But most most people in America, if someone is accusing you of being born a different sex than you are identifying as currently, most people just like show a picture. I don't know, provide proof. Like it's pretty simple to like, oh, you think I was born a male? Like, here goes my mom showing you a video of me like when I was born. Like, it's something like you can fix quick. And Candace Owens has been going on and on and on about this for months, if not a year yet. And First Lady Bridget Macron could have either won. They're in a whole other country. They could even ignore Candace. Doesn't, I would hope, doesn't influence anything over there. But if she was just getting your nerves that bad, you could have just been like, I'm a woman, like, shut up. And then from that point, you know what I'm saying, if you provide proof, Candace Owens would have just like either looked like a liar forever, or like would have kept going and kept looking like a liar, or shut up. But you didn't choose to prove her wrong. You just like kept trying to silence her, which doesn't help your case. And now you're actually suing. Like, are you going to be able to provide proof that you were born female? Because if you can't, I don't understand how you're going to win this case. So we about to see.